Music by the Cool.
Hello, and welcome to Yes, That's My Kid podcast. I'm Asia, he's Anthony, and behind the scenes, we have our producer, Jacob. On Yes, That's My Kid podcast, we dive into transparent, bold, and authentic conversations focused on parenting, childhood development, and the nuances of raising mixed children. Now, we are not here to give advice. We are simply expressing our opinions and sharing our experiences, all of it. The good, the bad, the triumphs, the failures, the celebrations. So if you like what you hear, please like, comment, and share. Also subscribe.
Even if you don't like what you hear, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.
That part.
Okay, so day one. Yes, That's My Kid podcast. We're up here with it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'd like you to tell us, the listeners, your perspective on why you started this podcast, why we started it, but what was your reasoning for starting it?
Okay, because we wanted this guap. We wanted this money. No, I'm just kidding. We'll have like 5 listeners not getting anything.
Yeah, right.
No. It's about to go up. It's about to go up.
It's just costing us money.
I know. All right. Seriously, there are 3 main reasons why I decided, yes, Anthony and Jacob, I will go on this venture with you and start Yes, That's My Kid podcast. For one, I wanted to relate to other people out there, share my experiences truthfully, and speak and connect with other people, like-minded people around the world. And that's because I believe that a lot of us kind of think that we are the only ones going through whatever situation that we are going through. And honestly, no one's life is truly significantly unique. Like,
For sure.
There's someone else out there that has gone through whatever you have gone through in your life. Maybe not 100%, but you'll find another person to meet that 50%. So I think that we can use it somewhat as a community, in space, just to connect with other people, who's also on this parenting journey. And, so for us, we have spouses, so we could connect with other people, other married couples. But also, if someone's going through this parenting journey alone, I think that this would be a great medium to just be like, hey, oh, they're going through the same things I'm going through. Oh, their child went through the same experience that I had, and maybe just see how we went about going through our journey, as I said earlier. Secondly, I would like to use this platform to hold myself accountable and to also reflect. So I don't write as much as I used to. I like talking though. So I think that I can use this almost in a sense as a diary or journal, and really speak on what I want my parenthood to be, how I want to
That's dope.
to look back and be like, oh, I did everything I said I wanted to do. And if not, if I had some crazy idea that I spoke about on this podcast like months earlier, and I look back and be like, all right, I was wilding out. There's no way that I should have done what I've done or did. And just know
Sure.
this content will always be there, and I just could look back and see growth. And also for my children or child to see it one day, maybe they'll kind of get an insight into the why. I think a lot of times as parents, we just tell kids to do, and there isn't really a why behind it. And hopefully I, do that in real time, speak to my kids, again, transparently, authentically, and say, why I'm making certain decisions. But if not, this is kind of like a little look-see into my brain. And then lastly, to fill a void. I don't think that there is anything out there right now on the podcast market space or anything YouTube that will be like our podcast. I believe there are tons of parenting podcasts, but they aren't going to come from our perspectives. We are both Black parents to mixed children. And when you typically search for a parenting podcast, I think the dynamic of the host is typically, if it's a male and female, it is they're couples, they're
Mm-hmm.
couples, and we're not. We're friends. It's a platonic relationship, and we've known each other for I think over 10 years. So we speak very candidly with one another, and I think
For
that
sure.
it it has like we have some interesting conversations. And also, if you see maybe other friends on a podcast, it's usually like a woman and woman, or a male and male, or a group of women or a group of men. And again, I think this is completely different.
Yeah. I respect that. I appreciate that. I pretty much agree with everything that you said, especially the filling a void part.
Mm-hmm.
When I became a father, I wanted to become the best father I could be.
Mm-hmm.
So to become the best father I could be, I had to become a better person. So in order to do that, I started looking up a lot of parenting podcasts, but as well as going through therapy so I can look inside myself and
Mm-hmm.
reflect and whatnot. But also just looking up a lot of parenting podcasts and YouTube channels because obviously I had never been a parent and I didn't have that experience. So, and looking at all those different parenting podcasts and YouTube channels and just reference bases and resources, I found a couple. But then as my daughter got a little older, I started needing a little more filling, right? I started needing a little more things that were specifically in line to what I was dealing with because there were a lot of things that were coming up or instances that I never had to deal with specifically. And I know a lot of other people might not have had to deal with it because they didn't have a mixed child.
Yeah.
So that's, I think that us making this podcast is definitely filling a void in the space that we need. I don't really have, aside from speaking to you on certain things and just kind of us collaborating with thoughts, I don't really have resources for it, right? I feel like our parents' generation did as much as they could. They took parenting to a standard, right? They took it to a level. Food on your back, food on your back, clothes on your back, food on your
Food on
table,
your
roof
back.
over your head.
Wait. You said food on your back. And here
Right.
I go.
Yeah. Had them greens on, yeah. Facts. That was crazy. But yeah, so I think they took it to a level, right? And now
Right.
we have to take it to a different level.
They gave
Because
us
I feel
the
like we're
necessities, make sure we had
for
everything we
sure. They
needed to
definitely made
just
sure.
live, survive.
Right. 100%. That was what that's what they knew. They didn't have the awareness that we have. So I feel like we're the first generation with enough awareness to parent with a purpose. So it's not like we're just parenting just to make sure these kids survive long enough to
Right.
become adults. We're actually trying to feed into their lives. We're trying to feed into their spirit, into their mentality, and just make them as complete human beings as we can. And I definitely think that this podcast can, to your point, work as kind of like a community center for a lot of people that are going through similar things, right?
Right.
And may have some questions or may just want to run by other experiences and listen to other experiences and kind of what other people have done in those scenarios. And going back to your point around this being unique, I think it is very unique because, like you said, it's about mixed kids, and it's not even just mixed kids. You have a white husband, I have a Hispanic wife, so it's mixed, but it's even a difference in between our situations, right?
Right.
The dynamics are extremely different, even when you mix different races, right? Your dynamic with your Caucasian husband is different than me and my Hispanic wife.
Right.
Just from a cultural standpoint, it's just very different. So yeah, so I think that this podcast is necessary and it's needed. And that's pretty much my why.
I like it. So then, Anthony, can you tell the listeners how we came up with the name Yes, That's My Kid?
Sure. So we came up with the name Yes, That's My Kid because that's basically kind of like the answer we've had to give, or we kind of want to give at times when we know somebody's looking at us because our kids don't look like us or have our same attributes. So we have to, it's a thing that comes through our heads mentally. Like, stop looking at me like that. Yes, that's my kid.
Right.
It's not anybody else's. It's mine. And then I've had specific instances in which I've had to tell people, yes, that's actually my kid. Because my daughter is looking a lot more like me since she's gotten older. But my son most certainly doesn't look like me yet. But when my daughter's younger, she looked a lot like her mother, and she still does, but she didn't look like me in a lot of cases. So I specifically had to tell people, yes, that's my kid.
Yeah.
So that's where the name comes from. But it doesn't have a negative connotation in terms of like an assertive, yes, that's my kid. It's just our kids do some weird and wonky things, and it's like,
Mhm.
yes, that's my kid.
Yeah. I also think about it in a sense that, like, I'm definitely gonna be this mom. My kid's gonna be on stage or doing something, performing, reciting something. I don't know what it
Mhm.
is, but I'm gonna be, "That's my kid. Yes, that's my kid." I'm gonna be that type of mother. That's what my mother is. She's definitely that type of mother. I think a lot of my family members are like that. She was at my
Yeah.
graduation kinda going crazy. I think she actually, when I graduated with my master's degree, I have a recording, but she was like, "Holla back at your
Oh,
mother."
snap.
I don't know why she said that,
That's dope.
but I'm definitely gonna be that type of mother. Like, "Yes, that's my kid. Go, baby, go."
That's dope.
Yeah.
So, I know this is the why episode, but
Mhm.
you think that that personality type is reflective of your mother's?
My personality?
Yeah,
Um, yes. I think I definitely have, like, first of all, I don't think anybody really wants to admit that they're like their parents. Like, when you're younger, you
for
try
sure.
so hard not to be like your parents and to just end up being like your parents, but
Yep.
I definitely think that I have a lot of her fun attributes and her characteristics. Like, she loves
Mhm.
to dance, she loves to have fun, she's super friendly. And I don't know, I think she's pretty caring, but she's also in ways like bad, well, I guess not the best ways. I think she procrastinates. I wouldn't say she's lazy, but I mean, I mean, I'm like that too. Like, I work hard,
Alright,
but
alright.
some things I just don't want to do.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's funny.
um, but yeah, but I also think I definitely got some things from my father as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, as far as academic wise and just
Yeah,
having some will and determination of actually having some success
yeah.
in that world.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think, to your point, yeah, we all end up becoming some form of our parents, whether we like it or not.
Mhm.
I didn't necessarily even, like, grow up with my father, in, like, close proximity like that,
Mhm.
but, I mean, now we have a good relationship and everything, and my wife tells me all the time, like, "You're becoming just like him,"
Mm.
and, it could be bad or good. Most times, it's not the best. It's not in the best light,
Oh,
and,
when she says that, it's not the best.
yeah, for sure. But it's wild. It's like that nature versus nurture thing.
So do you
But
want your children to be like you?
I want them to take attributes from me and attributes
Mm.
from the mother. There's definitely things that I like about myself. There's definitely things that
Like what?
I like that I'm pretty personable.
Okay.
I'm not afraid to speak to people and do things. I kind of have a mentality of I'm just gonna do what I want to do without
Mhm.
necessarily concerned about anybody's thoughts or anything. So that's definitely one thing that I
Inconsiderate. I see. No, just
inconsiderate.
kidding.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So that's something I would definitely want my kids to have. But um, one thing that I have worked on since being like younger is just kind of being a little more cognizant
Mm.
because there's levels of doing what you want to do because you can do
Mhm.
exactly what you want to do and not think about necessary consequences.
Mhm.
So I think I want them to have, but my wife, on the other hand, is great at that and thinks about consequences and
Mhm.
has a mind of like foresight.
Mhm.
So I hope they get my kind of like fearlessness, but get her foresight and level of just logic thinking of, oh, if
Yeah,
I do this, then something may happen. So
that makes
that's that. What about
sense.
you? What about you?
Definitely. I would want my kids I think I'm a pretty fun person. So I want my kids to be fun. I also believe that I am pretty optimistic and I will want my children to be the same. Like, there's if you allow yourself to, you could be, down in the pits. So stay on
Right.
the brighter side of things. But also I'm very responsible. I've always been responsible with money. Like, I've always been fiscally responsible.
Hmm.
And that's necessary, man. Like, money makes the world go
Hmm.
around. It's the root of all evil,
Yeah.
but you need it. So definitely want them
Yeah.
to be responsible on that part.
Right.
As
Right.
far
And
as
you
my
get paid on
husband,
and you get on the first plays on the first of the month too. So
you
that's a
said I
good
get
thing.
paid on the first of the month?
What?
Who Boy, you playing yourself. I get paid on the 15th though. The 15th and the last day. It's like the first and the 15th. But no,
Okay.
I get paid by what is it? Not even bi-monthly or whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
work for a good company, Big Four
Yeah.
accounting firm. I am
Right.
smart, people. Okay,
I am smart
I
people.
am smart.
We know you highly educated. We get it. We get
I
it.
am.
We know.
I am a certified public accountant. I have 2 degrees. I ain't like Dr. Wendy, but I have 2 degrees.
Oh, you really putting that resume out there, huh?
You know what I'm saying? Don't play with me. But as far as like my husband, his attributes and characteristics, I he's like super smart. Super, super smart. Just like has a lot of knowledge. And I mean, even I don't know, like trivia stuff. He knows a lot of stuff, just like things you just like ask a random question and he'll learn it. But also he has a way with just figuring things out, which I think I also have. So I would want our kids to, don't just come to us with questions. Like do your best to try to figure it out on your own, because you're only gonna make yourself more knowledgeable.
Right.
And he's very logical, which I think is a good attribute to have. So I would want that in my kids, like a great mixture of fun, responsibility, just a tad seriousness, but a lot of discernment, like.
Yeah, for sure. Dope.
Yeah.
Well, people, this is Yes That's My Kid podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share.
And comment.
We have a lot of good content coming. We just did our first episode yesterday.
Man,
it is interesting.
Yes.
To say the least.
Something to look forward to. If
you agree or disagree, comment.
Yeah, we want to hear it.
Let us know.
We want to hear it. Sound off.
We want to hear all about it.
Yeah.
So this is Yes That's My Kid. This is Yes That's My Kid podcast.
That's My Kid podcast. Again, like, comment, and subscribe.
Definitely.
And share. Don't forget that part. Sorry, I know you said thanks, but share.
I'm about to say peace twice. You know what I'm saying?
He wants to get out of here.
Right. Credits rolling. You like the Marvel films.
And I know when they have things at the end.
Hey, got something else. Hey.
Hey, don't go yet.
Fact. All right, though. Yes, That's My Kid podcast. We're out. Thank you.